What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the CuzNCiseal Show. I'm your host, Mike Fowler, a.k.a. CuzNCiseal. How are you? How was your Thanksgiving? Did you get stuff? Did you enjoy Black Friday? That was very surprising, Black Friday. I didn't go out. This is the first time in maybe a couple years that I did not actually go out to any store. Like, how would I word it? Like last year, did I go? Nope, not last year because of the pandemic too. So it's been 2 years straight now. But like last time I remember, like I go in there because I like Black Friday. I like being able to, I like going by myself and then with a list. So like the last time I remember, like I went and got an iPad for my stepkid. And then, just be able to know that because I can creep through and sneak in and like feel very agile at Black Friday. Like, of course, I never grew up in a spot that has like those Black Friday videos of people fighting. So, I mean, I'm fortunate for that. But no, and I don't go for like the doorbusters. I'm like what we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks. When I record. Go for video games or movies and whatnot. But yeah, this year, I think it's also because of Thanksgiving. I was able to, because of work, I have Wednesdays off, and then Thursday falls on, and they obviously closed the restaurant. And it felt real good, and hopefully you can hear it in my voice. Like it's like it was a boost. Of feel a little recharge, feeling good, and then so much so good, I'm still feel confident to do a show, and I have no idea. I think obviously all the news is really out for the holidays for gaming wise. Besides, last thing I see, which I think we discussed, is like Halo multiplayer is getting really good impressions and reviews, and I'm not gonna do it. So when I'm saying it, it's just the idea of like giving it's flowers of this is the closest I felt of like maybe getting even a Series S just to play Halo, because I tried to download it. There's another laptop here, and I tried to download Halo's multiplayer off the Steam there, but long story short, just literally how it is with the jokes of Greg Miller, I had to put my drivers are not up to date, some other I have no idea of I'm not tech savvy at all with real computers and all that stuff. But yeah, no, and then some of the other news is which fell into Black Friday kind of news, all right, behind the veil again. No one listens to this show. We got Scarlet Nexus in this basement. We have Back for Blood coming sooner than later. I was able to also get Biomutant. I also got a Switch game for my son, because we're trying to get him into the Switch, and he's one of those ones that he watches these videos, and he always watches these scary game videos. So anytime he gets the controller in his hand, he freezes up and he goes, "No, it's scary. It could be just plain Jane Mario." Granted, we are playing Luigi's Mansion 3 on sometimes, but we could put in Odyssey, and he just "Oh, it's scary." I'm like, "It's not scary, bud." But we're gonna try to go into more simple / so I got him Sonic Heroes. Granted, it is a lackluster game, but the idea of gets flashing lights, and it also was a dual pack, comes with Super Monkey Ball, not the anniversary one that just came out, but it was just an older one. It's just a little dual pack for Switch. What's another thing? But the thing that got me upset for me, because I take this shit because the idea of, especially since it's in that cluster of like it's games that are not being touched yet. I couldn't believe hearing so much price matching this year. Like, and then I've always said this to Jess. Like, listen, we gotta get Call of Duty. We always usually go to our local grocery, Meijer, which you probably have heard if you've been on these cheap ass gamers and Wario stuff, because it's kind of like a Midwest smaller Walmart. And like, we usually go there because they usually do buy it full price, but you get $10 off your next shopping, blah blah blah. And then, long story short, because of either how the supply chains are and all that shit, we did the buy two get one free, which we've talked about. But these Black Friday sales, and I'm like, because I go to this, they'll never put Call of Duty on low prices for Black Friday because it's always very high demand. Well, both Call of Duty and Battlefield you could have got this week for in the $40 to under $50 range for next gen consoles. And it's fine, it just hurts. Because like I saw prices at, long story short, because obviously let's do quick math. We bought 2 next gen Call of Duties and we got Far Cry 6 for free. So we paid $140 for 3 games. We could have saved, quick math, we could have got all 3 of them for $110 and saved $30. And within a week and a half difference, maybe 2 weeks difference. But that's here nor there. But it was some crazy things. Like I said, Call of Duty was on sale on Black Friday. That's some big things. And I don't know if it's it goes into also some of the news that I saw was like long story short, basically says PS5 owners are going kind of backwards and keeping with the physical discs. And hey, I agree in the sense of, look at me. I really favor physical. I think we're going into the idea that people are okay with I think people, how the word is, because I saw also another opinion article, like, is the $70 thing kind of bullshit now because of like just how some games are coming out? I don't think so. I still believe in like, fair pricing because of inflation. It's been X amount of years, blah, blah, blah. But you can't also, I'm also cheap in the sense of like, I want to get the most bang for my buck. So, I always look for a deal like everybody else is, especially in these times of like, I don't want to say post. It's like the pandemic that they say get back to work. And obviously people are trying to still find some positivity while we're still in these weird COVID tests, COVID vaccines, and all that shit. But yeah. But yeah, I believe it's still in the physical because of, like I said, I'm doing it. I've been very heavy into looking at the discs. There's only a couple times I'm like, oh, I need to switch to grab the digital, and that's only like if we didn't have Call of Duty for we needed it for Under the Tree present, we would have done it digitally so that both me and him could share, do our game share. But yeah, it's hopefully with like I said, the sound of my voice, it's been a really good week and just feel really better, kind of recharged. Also, maybe it's because I had Wednesday, Thursday off. Friday, luckily, was kind of dead for a restaurant in those terms. Saturday was very dead in the sense of had a little dinner rush and then done. So it felt real good. I didn't feel so worn out. But yeah, trying to figure out how I'm going to balance this because I got not movies or not just TV, not just video game, but I even got comic book reviews. CuzNCiseal is coming back right before a possible break of the month, and look at that. more impressed with myself more and more I each talk. But what is it? Why don't we do TV? Because I think that one's going to be the more simpler one. It might. I'm not 100% sure while I'm speaking. It was going to be the hot pick for TV. But I wanted to kind of give my 2 cents on the first 2 episodes of Marvel's Hawkeye. And my first impression, because I didn't like I read reviews and I understand like they say it's good, but it very does go by like a very, very worn out story style of building and plot, where it's like the new sidekick is going with the old veteran stuff. But let's take another step back first. My first impressions when I first watched it. I have no comic book history with Kate Bishop. I know that she's obviously the neck. I obviously am not under a rock, but like I know like okay, she's the next Hawkeye. She's obviously part of Young Avengers because they've done this. Kate Bishop's one of those very more, I don't want to say new, but like she's during that Marvel all new, all different, which I really wanted to give my support back then with because I'm like, hey, I like hearing it's all new, all different, so I can feel safe to come in and kind of do an approach. It felt like a Marvel version of like New 52. But I digress. Back to the show. I like it. I think it's very good. I think it is not up to Loki tier of excitement and thing, but I like it. I think it's the second best thing that's come out of Disney Plus shows yet. It's very. I like the actress Haley Steinfeld. I think that's her last name. She is very charming. She's very she's in the scene. She is very she shines. I really like that, and I am interested in more in the sense of okay. Apparently, Kate lived in New York during the first Avengers movie. And what got her to love the idea of becoming Archer is because of her building blew up, and she saw that little scene of Hawkeye jumping off the building, turning on having a zip line to safely make it, and blah blah blah. Made her fall in love with archery, and then also at the same time with the explosion, her dad passed. I think it's very, how do I word it? I do not have her real comic book origin, but for this, I'm just saying I think it's very coincidentally easy to write that in. I think they went a little on the easy route on some of these origins. I'm also going to give it props because I like that this show doesn't just get rid of the past. And I think this is why I think in my eyes, which again, if I think like this, I think this is where I have trouble with Shang-Chi and ones that do not address 25 movies prior. But like this involves like the underworld. It also involves like, hey, guess what? People came back and there's still like an underworld-esque like auctioning. There's still a lot more to discover because there's only been 2 episodes. The idea of like for Hawkeye. All right, we see Hawkeye. We see that he's losing hearing and they kind of explain it because of all the fucking explosion and shit he's been in through flashbacks of all the movies, which I like that. You see his kids. It's obviously a family movie show. It's obviously around Christmas, great time of the year. They again They've been doing really well at knowing when to drop these shows when they figure it out. The only thing I'm very interested in is at the end of episode 2, we kind of see our first glimpse and appearance, like I guess it would be like a cameo of a possible. Her name is Echo, and she already got announced she's going to have her own show, which I think like, whoa, we don't even know this chick yet, but it's very interesting to have Disney go, yep, we're already doing it. I'm like, wow, that's pretty quick with only 2 episodes in. Haley, this one is very, it was definitely the right move to have both of them come out at the same time, because I don't think neither one of these episodes were very strong on their own. I think it's one of these, this goes into that WandaVision feel. I think Loki had the most very strong episodes that could stand on their own, one episode at a time. WandaVision really did not connect until the very end, or like at least till the whole Agatha all along. Everything else was kind of like breadcrumb shit. This one is more I want to say buddy cop, but it's more like, like I said, veteran predecessor to take the helm. So I'm, you know what I mean? It is okay. If I'm going to do a review of it, I'm going to say it's if Loki, in my opinion, which I don't think we reviewed it like this, Loki by the end of the season got up to like a 5, but it started maybe 4, and there were some dips, but then it got back up. I think Hawkeye is at like they said on the reviews, I think there is a very solid 3 out of 5, maybe a 3.5 out of 5, in my opinion, with just 2 episodes. I like also, I've always liked that actress, but the girl who plays Kate Bishop's mom, who is, I'm going to say Norma Bates from Bates Motel. I just can't remember her name. She's also from she's Millie Bobby Brown's mom from Godzilla King of Monsters. But yeah, she seems good. I do like the whodunit. I'm a big sucker like that kind of old style. So maybe like these plot things that people say they're bland, they entice me. But also I understand where my favoritism is, so that's why I try to keep it at bay. I do like whodunits. I like it is grounded, but I just like you holding on to things that you've created. Like I said, like Loki is definitely Loki out of TV shows is definitely the one that pushed the narrative forward the most. Winter Soldier, Falcon, which I forgot came out, is definitely probably in a tight second. So Hawkeye is probably 3rd. So excuse how I did forget that. But like Hawkeye and Winter Soldier is definitely number 2, but a very close number 2, because they push the more global narrative. So we have the more universal narrative with Loki. This is and then Falcon Winter Soldier did a more a more worldwide narrative, which I like. And this Hawkeye show is definitely goes into the Wanda, like this is just let's worry about who Kate Bishop is at this moment in time. And then also like without me really spoiling, as obviously sounds like, let's see who is running little bits of the underground of New York City. I think there's already been some rumors of like a character who is, Kingpin is supposed to be coming into Hawkeye, but we'll see. And all that stuff. But yeah, more 3.5 out of 5 for me. I'm looking forward to next week's episode and to continue my thoughts on it. But yeah, and then I I think we're going to mix up because that's comic booky already, that Hawkeye. Let's go into the game. And because it goes into what I've been playing. And what I've been playing has been Death's Door. It finally came to PlayStation. It released on the 23rd. And it is very well done. Very, very well done. I don't have really that much negativity about it. When it first came out, it was obviously Xbox only and PC. I did not go that far into it. I just saw the announcement trailer and maybe a little bit of gameplay. But I thought it was judging by their previous game, Titan Souls from Acid Nerve, I thought this was going to be some super difficult, kind of Soulsy, kind of like Titan Souls was, game. I was completely wrong in the sense of it's not a Souls game where it's like, death is be careful about dying, blah, blah, blah. This game is definitely excellent. It should be actually in a lot more nominations for this year's Game of the Year than it isn't. It is basically a 2D, maybe like the remake of Legend of Zelda's Link's Awakening, like that top-down feel. It has Zelda quips and shit, like the idea like you can find weapons. You can also go find shrines to boost your health. But it does have the Souls-like combat where it's a dance. It's not like you can go in there, hack and slash, and take what you want. It's like, obviously, if you get hit and you start off with only 4 hit points, you can only do magic up to 4 times at the beginning. And then every time you use your sword, it regains your magic. And it's a good balancing act of combat. It's a very well tight combat that's I like too. There's no health gain in the sense of like, oh, you're out of the battle, you're going to regain your health. No, you have to also then find these pots and plant seeds to basically make like a little life tree so you can consume and stuff. And then each like a little chamber. When I say chamber, like we'll say each region. Yeah, region. Each region is because when they first announced it, I'm like, is this like some procedural Hades but with a little crow and a very cute art style? I love the art style. No, it is more like Zelda, which is also a good way to kind of sell it to somebody who's listening to this. It's kind of like Zelda. Obviously, all the villains, all the bad guys are placed for a reason and stuff. And when you kill them, they go away. And the only time they return is if you use one of the doors to go back to like the agencies, like your office. And that's another way to also regain your health too. But I digress on that. But no, like, once I understood that death is not penalized, and if you die, hey, you die. You just go, start from either from where the door of like, usually they have doors in certain regions that are very placed perfectly. Like either, okay, you're going to go into the boss's lair. There's a door right at the beginning of the boss lair, so you technically are at the checkpoint right at the start of the fight. If you die, fine. The other ones are reasonable in the sense of like, hey, you're in a dungeon. You're supposed to make it, complete the maze and open up the door so that if you die, you have the shortcut, which is very fair. The game is so good, and I don't want to spoil it, but what I like also is there's an end game to it, where what I'm going to say is not too spoilery, but basically, long story short, once you beat the game, quote unquote, you have cutscenes to watch, and the cutscene kind of teases, hey, if you go back to the agency, there's a key there now. And then you can basically go to this bell tower that you activate, and then basically makes the whole world go into like night. So each map is still the same routes, but the idea that there's new encounters, there's a new end game goal. And what I did like, without spoiling again, the true ending, which is obviously the end game stuff, it connects to Titan Souls, and I thought that was really cool that they kept their foundation. But no, the art style is beautiful. I love that dark, dreary, gothic tones with the little, like, a murder of crows and all that stuff. It's very, very well done. The trophies are also excellent, which is I know, trophies and achievements don't matter, but they are excellent. There are some that I'll give you this. One of the trophies is play the game with like the Nerf weapon. Like, hey, use an umbrella as your weapon through the whole thing, which is obviously the one that's like the weakest weapon, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know where to find it at first. So this is the first game that I like so much I'm actually replaying it again just to do the umbrella style, or fight. Not fighting, but like playthrough. The game also does a really well, like it's not like kiddie. There's no mini map. There is no true a lot of the things are by discovery, or the thrill of just going to each nook and cranny to find something. Like the idea of like the first time, because it is very Zelda, there's even a hook shot. But like you get a fire spell and you start to comprehend, this little panel area, you can turn off the cobwebs and burn them up so you can go into more, like the sense of not trial and error, but the idea of discovering a path is very satisfying, because of like, I'm not saying it's a difficult looking like moment of like a puzzle. Be like, if I just okay, perfect. I open another corridor, or hey, I found another shrine. Very well done. Acid Nerve, pats on backs. And then more of a teaser, but congrats to Acid Nerve. This is a 5 out of 5 game in my opinion, and it is definitely for this recording, because it might change down the road in a couple days. It is definitely the CuzNCiseal Show's indie game of the year. And I'm more happy I found my indie game of the year 3 days before before getting my real results and thoughts down onto our actual recording. But no, Death's Door, very excellent game. Very, very well done. Congrats to it's developed by 2 guys, and then granted they got help from Devolver with the public, because that was how the end credits show. But no, it was very well done. Very well done. All right. And then we got 3 comics. These are not early reviewed comics. They're actually, one's DC and two of them is more of a surprise for people who know me, are two Marvels. And why don't we start with the Marvel ones? Because I think the Marvel ones are definitely a more discussed one because of it is a very interesting thing in the sense of we are going to review the new team for Venom. We have issue 1, and we're also going to do the new team for the Incredible Hulk, issue 1. But we'll get into Venom first. So, let's more take another back step, and we're going to do, I'm also going to read the little, there's, you know, when you read a comic, and there's a title page, and it kind of gives you like a quick synopsis of maybe some stuff that happened, so you understand. But like, all right, before this book, Venom 1, Donnie Cates has been writing Venom. Oh, they just hit Venom 200, which they went back to historical comic numbers for that celebration. But Donnie Cates has been writing maybe, I don't know if it's been like 54 issues now, so it's been X amount of years. Basically building the lore of Venom to some of the highest potential it has been. Putting some stuff, and they've done like the King in Black. They did I think Absolute Carnage, like a lot of really high octane Venom stories. And that's how Donnie Cates kind of writes. So I'm not going to give it like that, but like he went to the Incredible Hulk. So people have been kind of going, ooh, I wonder what Donnie Cates is going to do. And while Donnie Cates has been doing some really good stuff with Venom, the Hulk team, who's been writing the Immortal Hulk, which is the team, well, the writer was Al Ewing. They kind of flip-flopped. So now Al Ewing is writing Venom. And he also has a co-writer with Ram V. And obviously people who listen to my show, they know how much I like Ram V with oh yeah, that's another little spoiler. Possibly, he might have wrote one of the best books I read this year, or comics I read this year, but yeah. So let's break it down first. So obviously we're going to review Venom 1. Writers Al Ewing and Ram V. Pencil is Brian Hitch. Inker is Andrew Curry. Color artist is Alex Sinclair. Letterer is VC's Clayton Cowles. And the colorist and the penciler did the cover art. Well, for the main one. I don't have that one. I have actually the Peach Momoko variant. But let's break down so you kind of get it gives you a little backstory with Venom. Years ago, Eddie Brock was a reporter whose career was ruined after the Amazing Spider-Man revealed that he had falsified a story. Distraught, Brock contemplated suicide and went to his church to ask for forgiveness in preparation for taking his own life. Instead, he found a kindred spirit, an extraterrestrial parasite alien called a symbiote that Spider-Man had inadvertently brought to Earth and rejected after discovering its true nature. Sensing Brock's shared hatred of the wall crawler, the creature bonded with him and the two were joined. Alright, before we get into that is basically almost textbook 101 of how Venom, Venom's backstory from when he first came out. You know what I mean? That's like Todd McFarlane. That's like back long ago. That's obviously, they're talking about even like how Spider-Man got his black suit through the Secret War and shit. That's how old that is. That's very 101, very easy to understand Venom stuff. So what I'm going to say next, because I've obviously read it, is kind of more new, kind of what Donnie Cates has brought into the lore of Venom, which is he has a son. But recently, Eddie discovered that he had a son, Dylan, kept secret by his long-deceased ex-wife, Annie Weying, Weying. In the weeks that followed, Dylan has been by his father's side and faced down serial killers and space gods. Now the fallout has left Dylan as the host of the alien organism that has once inhabited his father, biting them not only by blood but by venom. Okay. So again, that's a good way to kind of break down the idea of like Donnie Cates. That's a very, very minimalistic thing what Donnie Cates did with Venom, apparently. It kind of also just the idea that he is then Donnie Cates' run sounds like it was involving Venom or Eddie dealing with him finding out he's a father and becoming a father, blah, blah, blah. And one result from the King in Black is, because I'm going to you kind of have to have some knowledge walking into this, but it is a number one, so you kind of can also approach it like how I am doing it. But obviously, I had knowledge. Of course, King in Black happened, which means this space god they're talking about, Null, came and basically casted the world into a big giant. He's the god of symbiotes, so he had all control of all symbiotes. Blah blah blah. Not going to go that far. Besides the idea of, hey, Eddie won, and now he's the King in Black. So he's now the helm. He's the master of all symbiotes everywhere in the universe. That's the most minimalistic thing I can say for this. But so I think I understand why they have two co-writers. One is focusing on one of them. I don't know which one offhand. One of them is focusing on Eddie's story. That is kind of involving, to me, without, it's only one issue. Looks like he's going to be the one that gives you the big universal Venom issue that's going to carry on through the whole series. The other one is involving Dylan, who is still on Earth and who is still, what we found out in issue 1, is kind of home alone. His dad can kind of transfer his mental state into other symbiotes across the world because he's the King in Black. And he's been kind of in this first issue, he was kind of doing like a rescue mission onto the spaceship, and he found these 4 straggling symbiotes to kind of get close to this ship, find out there's like, space pirates, very typical comic book stuff. Long story short, somebody was able to another big bad without let me backtrack and make sure they said it at the end. Okay. But yeah. So Eddie's able to travel with his mind to take control of symbiotes. He's not technically connected to Venom no more. Because also there's this book came out, and I think maybe you should have read at least Venom 200. So this is technically 201. 200 was like a $10 big ass book. But and then now we're getting the more fate of now, because Eddie's kind of distant and also gone. You find out that he I go to this hotel to keep my body safe while I transfer my mind into the symbiote across the world or universe. Dylan is getting in trouble in school. His dad's not around, so he's kind of feeling angsty about that. One rule that Dylan's dad, Eddie, has always said, never connect to a symbiote, Dylan. Blah, blah, blah. By the end of the book, he does. Dylan's going to become the Venom actually had the Venom symbiote, not just a symbiote. Long story short, trying to say it as a brand new book. It is all right. It definitely has some more hooks into it for me. I just think, it's been like, I'm looking for some interesting stuff. Like it kind of goes into that Moon Knight. I think this one is a little bit more baggier than Moon Knight. Moon Knight's is on issue 5. They kind of have a new run going on, and they obviously are. They have the benefit of the doubt. Like the last time Moon Knight had a series, like 3 or 4 years ago. So if they want to talk about not talk about it, like if they want to hold on to like some things that were happening there, it just looks normal now. But they can do a brand new story and like him doing blah blah blah. But with Venom, this one definitely is on the coattails of the Donnie Cates one when they're trying to also separate themselves into their own new story. I would with Venom, and also one thing with Marvel I didn't know, all their number ones are like $6. And like now after this week, like if you want, not this week, next month, if you want to get issue 2, it'll be only like $4, blah blah blah. But would I recommend Venom 1? I would say yes. I think also it is probably the one that is very carefully of like, careful, you might lose track with all the information, or the idea of like, if you really want to have some you want some context into what's going on, you might have the most risk of like, this seems a little too much. And how does Eddie, why is Eddie the King of Black? Why is this? Why is that? This one definitely holds on to that, but it is a good read. It does pretty well because they do a pretty good balancing act of the Eddie stuff, which is definitely, like I said, it's the first Eddie's story reveals a new bad guy. And like he does like that, hello, I'm your friend, blah blah blah, which he might not be. Dylan's though has the more grounded, interesting thing where he gets like it felt kind of Matrixy. Like he's like I don't know where my dad is after getting told to the principal, like, you need your dad to come up for this to talk about your problems. Dylan goes home and the artist drew it like we're watching it over someone's shoulder, a shadowy figure. And then he gets a phone call. No, he gets woken up by Eddie. It's like, all right, Dylan, we gotta go. Get dressed. I'll be downstairs. Hurry. And it's like middle of the night. And then Dylan gets a phone call, and it's his dad, Eddie. Also, it's another Eddie. He goes, Dylan, don't go with him. That is not me. You need a blah blah blah. You need to get out, go through the window or something, blah, blah, blah. And then meet me at this hotel. Long story short, it was a trap. And then the symbiote Venom, who's been gone, because they obviously didn't want to connect, see it was a peril and trap because he's been watching over Dylan. And he actually bonds with Dylan, and it kind of leaves you like that for issue 2. It seems all right. If I had to review it, and I'm going to stick to that, I'm going to give Venom issue 1, the brand new run, which is only maybe a couple weeks old, a 3.5 out of 5. And that, that's some big, we've done reviews on comics, so 3.5 out of 5, it's a close 4, but I think there's a little too much baggage for new readers. I think it's a good read, but I think it's just a little too much baggage for a new reader. Now we're going to switch it up to Hulk. Like I said, let's get to that page, which I just kind of read. The very interesting thing, though, about Hulk is, where is it? Okay, so this one does not have like a previously. And this is where I think this actually strengthens the idea of somebody who wants to come in and read Hulk. But right now, this is Hulk, issue 1, and the first arc is called Smastronaut. But it's by Donnie Cates and drawn by Ray Otley. If you don't know that name, Ray Otley is the artist from Invincible, which has been a smash hit for Amazon. Another Skybound thing. Color artist, Frank Martin. Letterer is VC's Corey Petit. I don't know what VC is. And then, obviously, the Ray Otley and Frank Martin, the colorist, did the cover of the main cover. But okay, so there's no like background like the Venom had. But the front of the page, right on the cover, has this question for this book. What if the Hulk exists to protect us from Banner? So, the thing about this is definitely, right off the bat, in my opinion, a great entry-level start of a book. Donnie Cates, kind of not, because again, I did not read any of the Invincible Hulk, so I do not know how issue 50 of Invincible Hulk, I think it's Invincible, it's not Incredible Hulk, it's Invincible Hulk, finished, with how Al finished it. But people have always gave it credibility, said it was really well done. But this one starts with something happened that Bruce, because now I know it's Bruce, because I think Invincible Hulk was also a different character. But Bruce, like I said, what if Bruce is a bad guy? And the only part that I don't, when I say bad guy, is what if he actually held some grudges to some of the shit that has happened to him? And we're going to do a quick review of, like, not quick review, I'm going to look through this. So the first book, Donnie Cates, does just a straight violent opening book. He has him fight a Hulk Buster with Iron Man in it. Technically 4 of them. But the thing that we're finding out is the Hulk. What if Bruce has control of the Hulk's mind? Like Bruce Banner is in complete control of the Hulk. He also can use, in his mind, he made like a little fortress. So Bruce mentally is in this big fort, and he has control of how strong the real life Hulk, because obviously it's outside world, can be. And by doing that is because he has the mental version of the Hulk captive in basically I don't want to say gladiator, but he's in a chamber where if he needs, because obviously the Hulk gets stronger, the angrier he gets. So if he needs the Hulk, because this is being learned while he's fighting Hulkbuster in the real world. So there's a part where, Hulkbuster catches his arm and has him in a trap. Okay? And Bruce kind of giggles, and he's like, I know what so he basically creates an army to shoot at the Hulk that's in his brain to make him obviously angry. And it worked, clearly. But long story short, and this is pretty violent in the sense that you watch the Hulk in real life pull his arm out, and like his skin and muscles gone, just see a bone. He rips it off, and he has one arm at the moment, but he gets so angry that it reproduces. I'm not sure. I don't know that much Hulk power of like, oh yeah, he can do that. But so he was able to snap his arm out, which obviously went to nothing, and then he was able to beat up the Hulkbuster, and his arm regrew just because of also he ripped off the Hulkbuster's arm and used it as his hand for a second. But this is definitely very high up top octane shit, and It also benefits that Donnie Cates ran and controlled the King in Black's event. King in Black was the last event for Marvel, period. It finished this September. So he got to use things that I don't think Al and Ron V has not control, but like the memory or the idea of like the history of writing it does. Long story short, apparently during the King in Black, Iron Man made a celestial sized suit, and it has celestial powers, which is kind of funny because the Eternals came out. Just the idea, I'm just saying. But Hulk uses his chest because you can travel through the space because it's like celestial powers. But he just wants to he wants to get off this planet, and it involves where is it? I'll guess I'll leave it on this idea. Where is it? Here's the last 1, 2, 3, 5 panels. I'm leaving because none of you will know how to deal with what I'm going to become. And Tony Stark yells, "No!" This is all mentally Bruce talking now. You all have a little plans, your armor suits, your rocket ships, all your clever ideas on how to deal with my monster should his actions not prove to be in your best interest. But you aren't dealing with him anymore. You're dealing with me, and I promise you have no plans for me because I'm not controlled by rage anymore, and then I'm fueled by it. So it's definitely a super different Hulk story in the sense of it's like, for a reference, to me, it seems like a very modern version of like World War Hulk. What if they want to have Bruce be more in control, or the idea that he does not, like if Bruce Banner agreed with the Planet Hulk that came back and went and beat up the Avengers for shooting him off into space. You know what I'm saying? And at this moment, out of those 2 Marvel books in particular, I'm giving the Hulk a 4 out of 5 because it is definitely it is a very modern superhero book in the sense of like we're not going to see Bruce Banner or get hit by gamma rays to become the Hulk ever again. We're not going to see the spider bite Spider-Man's hand no more to make him Spider-Man. That's what I'm trying to say because we've done, indie comics where they kind of give you a really good introduction to a character and shit. But so this book ran and hit the ground running when they started. And it's very impressive. And it's only short. It's a lot shorter than the Venom book. But it's a 4 out of 5 and out of the 2 books that we're talking about. The Hulk one has me interested for issue 2. And not because, I have no real connection to Donnie Cates, so it's not like that. I should be more like in Venom because of Ron V. But the Hulk definitely and what's his name? Ryan Otley, you definitely see if you switch the Hulk's blood into red, it look like almost some panels from Invincible. You know what I'm saying? Of like that blood, and it's very violent, and I'm more impressed. Disney and Marvel are given the A-OK because I know they don't have that much connection, but the idea of Hulk being like Venom can get away with it, but Hulk being so violent now, and he's going to be like in She-Hulk. He's going to be like, I'm very interested to see that they're letting him go down this more rough patch again. So hey, it's good. It's very interesting. A 4 out of 5. Congrats to the Marvel team that doesn't listen. Next, though, is a very surprising book. And it is book 1 of a DC Black Label run called Catwoman, Lonely City. And this is what I like about it. When you open up the first book, it says, obviously, Catwoman Lonely City, written, drawn, colored, and lettered by Cliff Chiang, Chiang. So again, sorry, do not try to wreck your name. But now let's take another step back. The DC Black Label books. DC Black Label is a non-canon run of their books. And one thing that they've been doing, which I really enjoy, I actually love it, is they make these oversized books for their comics. Right? Like, of course, Catwoman. Suicide Squad, Get Joker. The Other History of the DC Universe by John Ridley is another example of these books. These books, I got these comics. If a regular comic book is like you have a comic book in your hand, okay? Stretch it out another 1/5 longer and maybe 1 inch taller. And that's what you get with these DC label books. And they look clean. And it's just, they're very well done. They even have because they're thicker and like how they're set up, even the binding can like say like, hey, this is Catwoman Lonely City. You can set it like in a, shelf without showing the picture, which I would still show the picture because it's a very, lovely thing. And I do like that the idea that it is written, drawn, lettered, and all by Cliff. But the more synopsis of this book, without me kind of spoiling, I'm not trying to spoil it, is like I said, it's a off-canon story. And long story short, it's kind of like I don't want to say old woman Catwoman, but it's the idea of like Batman's dead. Catwoman was been in jail for 10 plus years. She says she's been in the crime scene for 30 years. So, you know what I mean? So she's older. The town is, and then the idea that she got out of Blackgate and she's going back to Gotham, and Gotham is the safest town in the nation since Batman died. It's so weird because even they have Harvey Dent, Two-Face, as the mayor. He's going up for re-election. But it's the safest town, and he's not a bad guy. Well, he's not going through Two-Face's, hijinks of flipping coins and killing people and trying to be a mobster. This book, long story short, is she gets out, but I think Harvey lets her go or releases her. Somehow he's like, it's been 10 years. I've changed. She can change too. It sounds like to me. But she has some actual knowledge of what happened on what's that day they called? The day Batman died in this story is where'd it go? Called Fool's Night. But she has real stories. Like I think people think she killed Batman. She didn't, but that's not the mystery. The mystery is like, what's she trying to do because of what happened on Fool's Night? Batman told her something before he died. You see like an old man, like you see, obviously you see Harvey Dent. He's obviously mayor. Penguin's in it. Now he's Emperor Penguin. He kind of works he owns a casino, and he's like still the money laundering guy, but he's off district, blah, blah, blah. Cops now are, wearing bat ears, and like they're in like these these super masks, like they can read, like, they like do face scanning and stuff through the masks. Gotham's like in this like weird secluded chamber of control, like the idea that they show like pay with cash, like, no, we only take G cash now. So like the idea, like, since I don't want to spoil like all the real backstory, but like since Batman died, the town went better, and there's reasons for that. But the idea like that, it's kind of in a police state. There's no capes or masks allowed. Obviously they do different, like, digital money now. Like it's like they have their own Bitcoin. There was one other thing that was kind of surprising. Besides, like, there's no crime, and then they're on, like, everyone's going to have these bracelets that are actually supposed to be like, they're supposed to have like these G bands that are supposed to be to what we know in the book. It could be actually a thing for more story, but it sounds like it's like an identification band, which is coming out next year, blah blah blah, in the story. But the idea of she goes back to some of her stomping grounds. She goes back to her apartment, or technically her building, because she says, like, I own this building because it's from the first millions I've taken from the Falcone family, blah blah blah, and she basically is trying to get work, be a crime person again. And no one wants to work with her because she's old. She's like Emperor Penguin was like, I know you got a bum knees, back spasms. Like there's a part when she's running through the top rooftops and she's taking pain medicine. Very, very interesting read. And there's an interesting part right at the end of this book. She goes to this bar that's probably something connected to like the Catwoman story or comic run. But like this, like Killer Croc's there, but he's like old man Killer Croc. So he's wearing like like that, what's that hat? The hat that people who like craft beers that always joke on. He's wearing like a hoodie and some pants. He's like, hey, how you doing? I'm just at the bar, just being old. And like, she's like, you want to work? You want to team up one more time? He's like, hell yeah, I used to be the king, like, blah, blah, blah. And just, it's very interesting. It's a very nice read. The art's really good. And again, it goes into, I think it's more impressed because it is one guy. But I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I don't want to say 5 out of 5 because it ain't, but it is a very well done, very good introductory. Like if you want like a side story, which I should have picked this up earlier. Go find this Catwoman Lonely City. If you want there's only one book out yet. The second book comes out next month. I don't even know how many books there are going to be. But it's a very nice read. And it gives you a very good introduction. You see Barbara Gordon. And then some interesting stuff with that. I don't want to, spoil it all. But like, there are outcomes. And like, if you like Gotham, if you like, that story, I think this is a really great read. So yeah. And then 4 out of 5. And then I think that'll be it. And then for hot picks, honestly, for hot picks, I'm just gonna do the easy way out. TV is Hawkeye. And then also I'll just say it, fuck it. On Hulu you can watch the movie Pig with Nicolas Cage. Music is Traps by Block Party. I didn't even know Block Party was still around, but I'm more happy I just listened to it. Sounds really cool. It sounds good to get back to some of that roots. And then for comics, we'll go like we do, Aftershock first, and it looks like there is going to be a Maniac of New York, The Bronx is Burning issue 1. And then for just more because of it's funny, Archie Christmas Spectacular issue 1 comes out, and then we'll go down to Behemoth. Nothing that's number 1 for me to, be fair. Hey, also congratulations to Damon Connelly, who's been on the show. He announced that next year is the sequel to You Promised Me Darkness. That's really cool to hear. Is coming out. But then from Boom, this is Magic Master of Metal number 1. Oh yeah, it's a story about Tezzeret from Magic the Gathering. And then we'll go down to anything from I care about from Dark Horse. Nope. DC. Just Batman Annual Issue 1. A Fear Stake Omega one shot. Oh wow, the ending of the Detective, but Detective, it's all the variants, all the annuals are coming out, even the Joker 2021 annual, and then for that series, Nightwing is getting theirs, Robin is getting his, excuse me, Wonder Woman, everybody and their mother's getting an annual right now. Keep going. IDW. Snake Eyes Dead Game Declassified Issue 1. So if you want a D.I. Joe, there you go. Image. Let's see what they got, if they have anything number ones. King of Spies, number 1 of 4. So it's obviously just a 4-issue run of something. Let's keep it going. Mad Cave, Last Session, number 1 comes out. Marvel, let's see if there's any number ones. Anything. Just one shots that are connected to the death of Doctor Strange, like one for White Fox, one from Spider-Man. Let's see what else. Well, coincidentally, because we just did the review, Venom number 2 comes out this Wednesday. So if you want, if you like how I fuck up a review and it's like, I'm going to get that, get ready for the second one to come out this week too. Scout. Okay, that's not it. Yeah. That's already out. Commander Row, number 1 from Scout. Which probably next week, Thud, number 1. White Ash, season 2, number 1 comes out. I have that book I can read. I just haven't read it yet. And then, let's double check because I always like Vault. Nothing new, like in the sense of issue 1s, like how we do at the CuzNCiseal show. And that's it. And then, no, thank you very much for listening. And please tell a friend. Tell them about the show. I know I've been down for some weeks, but this feels real good. Hopefully I can keep this stride going during the next couple of weeks. But yeah, like we say every week, be good to each other, and I'll catch you next week. Peace.